Hi everybody, and welcome to another DVD produced by ChessBase. My name is Yannick Pelletier. I am a 42-year-old Swiss Grandmaster, and you may know me already for having seen me at the chessboard or during live commentary at top tournaments, or perhaps you have already watched one of my previous DVDs. The topic for today in this DVD is the London system, but perhaps not the way you expect it, since I'm not going to do it the usual way. I'm not going to present white players with a full repertoire on the London system. On the contrary, I'm going to stand and represent the other side of the board, the black pieces. And I'm going to offer you a way to fight against the London system, whatever opening you usually play in the main lines of the d4 opening. d4, c4. So if you play the King's Indian, I have something for you. If you play the Slav, I have something for you, etc. and so on. So there are actually in this DVD several chapters where I consider different options for black, where I offer you a weapon to fight against the London system. As a reminder, just so that you know or get acquainted perhaps with the idea of the London system, white players start with d4 and they want to develop the bishop very early on to f4, preceding this move perhaps with knight f3. This is a question of move orders. And then they will play e3, and in a rather restrained way, they are not going to push the pawn to c4, but just to c3. Then the knight goes to d2, this bishop will be developed to e2 or d3, h3 is going to be played because the bishop on f4 may feel sometimes a little bit uneasy, so that it needs a square on h2. They will castle short, so they will have this kind of pawn triangle here, which is very solid. And solidity is basically what white players want to get when they play the London system. They basically don't claim that they are going to fight for an opening advantage. They want to develop their pieces in a healthy, natural way, put the king, into the castle, into safety, and only then start playing a game on a very healthy basis. And in a way, when we're talking about the London system, I think that its reputation has evolved in the past few years. It used to be considered let's put it like this, an opening which is solid, where white players are both lazy, because white just gets his setup in the first 10 moves, and long variations, big knowledge is not required. Lazy players, boring players, because white is not spoiling for a fight. White doesn't really want to get anything from the opening and refrains from playing c4. So they are lazy, they are boring, cowards. And this is the way London system adepts would be seen not even 10 years ago. But this has changed since absolute top players started playing the London system themselves regularly. And I'm thinking of world champion Magnus Carlsen, Vladimir Kramnik, and these two very influential players have dragged other top players who now regularly employ the London system in mostly rapid games, blitz games, but not only, they sometimes do it in classical games as well. And obviously, when top players start using a certain line or a certain opening, then the whole world, amateurs, weaker grandmasters like me, try to follow and do follow. In other words, the London systems has become very popular in recent years at every level. And therefore, I think it is it is even essential to be ready against it. In fact, the London system has also started, well, or let's say white players have started treating the London system even slightly differently. It's not just about the first 10 automatic moves, but after bishop f4, let's say even here, some people have started playing not c3 but knight c3 with ideas to get an early e4 in the position. Players like Jobava, Richard Rapport, original players. So we start seeing other possible treatments of this system which have to be studied as well. I have tried and think I have succeeded in offering all of you something to fight for against the London system. So whether you will play g6 openings like the King's Indian or the Grunfeld, I have something ready for you against bishop f4. There is a chapter on that. Well, if you play e6, hoping to get into a Queen's Indian, Bogo Indian, or basically Nimzo Indian, which you can't get after knight f3, but basically you're a classical opening player. Well, I have something for you after bishop f4, b6 as well. And obviously, perhaps the main part of this DVD, d4, d5, Queen's Gambit, Slav players, or even if here after bishop f4 you prefer to play d5 instead of b6, I do cover this as well. So I was saying this is perhaps the biggest part because actually I do propose two chapters, two different lines involving d5 for black. And the reason for this is that I believe, or in my opinion, the London system has perhaps a little more sting is perhaps not the word, but a little more sense against d5, because this bishop, you can see, is not challenged really on that diagonal. We have played d5. In other words, these squares have been slightly softened by the move d5. Imagine now we have, just to compare, d6, bishop f4. Well, the bishop is biting here on d6. But, of course, if you play the Queen's Gambit, then you play d5 on move 1. You might start with knight f6, e6, but at some point you're going to play d5. And then what to do if the bishop comes to f4? The bishop is active, and white would like one day to use that nice square on e5, which has been slightly weakened as well by the move d5. Don't worry, there's nothing tragic yet. The London system does not refute d5. I offer you an aggressive opening, or an aggressive way to fight against this here, in a quite large chapter, and also another solid way to fight against bishop f4 if you play d5. So there is a little bit for everybody's taste on this DVD. So that's more or less about the whole structure of the DVD. Now, every chapter is also divided in, let's say, two kind of videos. The first way I present the video is talking a little bit about theory, presenting the main ideas, the plans, and the other type of videos is those where I show you thematic games, mostly by top players. And I think this is an important way to do things because especially the London system is based not so much on concrete theory, concrete lines, but ideas which go beyond the opening into the middle game. So it's important to see how top players treat these positions, not just in the first 8 or 10 moves, but beyond that. There are two more things I'd like to add about this DVD. The first is that there is an interactive part as well, which is quite important for you to try out the knowledge you have gained by studying the main videos. So this interactive part is composed of many short clips where I put you to the test by asking you questions. And since it is interactive, when I ask you a question, you have the possibility to answer by moving on your screen with the mouse, proposing moves. And if these moves have been considered, some are good, other moves are wrong. And that's the reason why you're going to learn something, because if you suggest a mistake or a bad move, then I'm going to explain why that was not the best, and perhaps you'll try again and find a good move. So we are going to see a few examples from the videos, but not only, where you can test out your knowledge. And finally, a very important tool as well is the games database, which I have prepared for you and added in this DVD. These are in chess-based format, not in video or audio format, and it's an essential complement to what I explain in the videos, because we are limited in time and space here, obviously, so I cannot cover everything, every detail. But thanks to the database of games which you can find about G6, about E6, B6, so everything is covered as well, you will be able to complete what you have seen and heard in the videos to make sure that you get a full repertoire in the line that is relevant to you. I think I have said everything I wanted, and it's I think the time has come now to step into the real chess part of this DVD with the different chapters and the different lines which are covered. I hope you're going to enjoy the work here and that you are going to enjoy working with me on a way to fight against the London system. I'll see you in the next clip.